The first drill that we do with a towel in order to teach the proper throwing mechanics is called hips throw drill. We use a towel because there's no energy expending from our body into making the towel fly through the air as opposed to the ball. If you throw a football, there's energy going from your body to the ball, which is why when you initially start throwing the ball, your arm would be tired the following day or after the workout. But by using a towel, we can focus on the right mechanics, not worry about what the ball flight is, and also not expend energy. So you can do these every single day to make your mechanics better. So let's talk about the techniques of setting up and doing the towel drill, first drill, which is hips throw drill. Okay, we want to start out by making sure that our back foot is pointing at the back of the stick. Okay, this is the quarterback stride stick, and I have another video on how to use that and the purpose of it, so I'm not going to detail that now. The second thing we want to do is make sure his front foot is pointing straight ahead. This will allow his hips to fully rotate. If this foot is turned in or pointing not fully straight, then what's going to happen is his hips are going to stop and lock up right where his foot is blocking his hips from getting to square. Okay? The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure either the ball or the arch of the foot is across from this tape. We don't want to be any further because that's going to give us too wide of a base. Okay? Once we have that foot position, we're then going to lean forward so that our knee is over the ball of our foot. Okay? So that's where we want our front knee bent over the ball of your foot. Okay? So now you can see that Caleb has gotten in a position where his back foot is turned at a 45-degree angle. His front foot, ball of his front foot is across from the tape. His knee is bent, so his weight's over the ball of his foot. Okay? The next thing is we'll move to the upper body, and we want this front arm tucked tight against his chest. We want this back arm up so that his elbow is armpit height. And then we want to make sure that this hand is right over his bicep because that's what loads up the tricep. In other words, right now, our tricep is fully extended so that when we go to turn, we can fully contract it and get the maximum speed into our hand. Okay? We're going to make sure that his head stays perfectly stable when we do this. We don't want that to move forward, backward, left, or right at all. Okay? To do the drill, what we're going to do is we're going to give him a hips command. And on the hips command, he's going to turn his hips so that they're square to the target, just like this. So right now you'll see that his hips are square to the target. Okay? But the other point is we want to make sure this hand stays behind his head. And that's where you get hip-shoulder separation. Okay? So hand stays behind the head. You give the athlete the hips command. He turns his hips. Let's watch how, in slow motion, how his hips turn first. So notice that when we say hips, see his hip turning first and his hand is staying back. So his hand and his hips are not turning at the same time. His hips get square and then his hands stay back. And then this is the hip-shoulder separation that we get from doing that. Okay? The next command is throw. So when he's going to throw, he wants this elbow to stay above that armpit line. And that's what allows you to keep your shoulder and your arm injury-free. That's how that shoulder rotates to be able to throw. So notice that nothing moves. He's not vertical bouncing, and he's going to throw. He's going to extend his elbow and then accelerate his elbow and his wrist, and this towel ends up perfectly straight when he does that. So you see this nice posture and balance. He's got good posture, which means his shoulder and his hip are lined up. His knee is stayed bent over the ball of his foot. His back knee is bent. and he stayed perfectly stable without moving his head at all. Okay? This really builds quarterback specific strength at release when you're able to do this towel drill and remain perfectly stable in every part of your body, your feet, your hips, your posture, and your head. So let's just watch this in full motion. Hips, throw. And you'll notice that he does not move at all. We'll go back and watch it again. This is hips, throw. Okay? Towel drill is an excellent way to be able to teach throwing mechanics without them worrying about the ball flight. Okay? So let's use the bones diagram to give us even greater input on how this works. Okay? So you see how this tricep is loaded up? Because we have a nice angle here. We know that our tricep is fully extended, so we can flex it. We got the bend in our knees. We can see right here. We got bend in our knees. Nice tight tucked arm. Good posture. Nice tall posture. We're going to go hips and rotate him. And you can see that nothing moves in his posture. If you look at the line right from his shoulder to his hip right here, nothing's moved. He has nice tall posture. He has his hand over his bicep, which gives him this nice angle to be able to use to accelerate. The bend in his knees has stayed the same, and his head has stayed perfectly stable. Okay? We're going to go the throw command. This tells you the separation of his shoulders and his hips if we drew this straight line. So we got hip shoulder separation. Then we're going to give him the throw command. And his elbow goes forward. We see this almost perfectly straight line, and his posture is still the same. Perfectly straight line, and nothing has moved. The bend in his knees, posture, head is stable. So this is an excellent job. And I'll run at full speed with the bones movement. Hips, throw. And that's the hips throw drill, the first drill in the towel drill sequence.